With Nobody and Nobody 2, Saul Goodman as a badass action hero? Hell yeah. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of Nobody 2. Nobody 2 is the newest action sequel to 2021's Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. In Nobody 2, we follow Hutch Mansell, once again played by Bob Odenkirk. He takes his family to a theme park from his childhood until his vacation is interrupted by a ruthless crime boss. Before I get into my review, any new viewers coming across my channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. I am Jack Benner. I do movie reviews on here, both old and new, and from time to time I do some lists on here, either a top 5 or ranking video. So if you're looking for either of those, you're definitely in the right place. So you like movie content, like what you see so far, definitely considering that like and subscribe button for more exciting movie content down the road. And to give you my thoughts on Nobody, I thought this was a badass action movie from 2021. And this movie was a perfect showcase for what Bob Odenkirk can do as a badass action star. And never really expect to see him in an action role like this, and he knocked it out of the park. But more importantly, how he was able to make Hutch such a sympathetic and badass protagonist to care for and root for. And the action chops he showed in this movie was fantastic. Just the intensity and gravitas he brought to the role were terrific. It's a very well directed action movie with brutal action scenes. And if you thought Shang-Chi had an awesome buzz fight in 2021, Nobody says, "Hold my beer." And just from that moment when Hutch says, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and right there I'm like, shit's going down. And I loved how that fight was shot, and it wasn't too quick cut and you could see what was going on, the editing flows, and just how it felt real, brutal, and visceral. And that would be my pick for the best action scene of 2021 in my opinion. Oh, and also if you want to see an R-rated Home Alone, watch this movie, please. Despite that I think the villains are weak, I still think this is an awesome action movie from 2021, and I do like No Time to Die, but this is my personal favorite action movie that year, and would be in my top 15 favorite movies of 2021. Nobody was released during the pandemic in March 2021, although the film's box office was affected by the pandemic as well as many other movies around that time. It was able to be a profitable success, grossing $57.5 million worldwide on a $16 million budget. That and would go on to be a bigger success through strong word of mouth and on-demand success. 4 years later, we finally got a sequel to Nobody. After that first movie, I did see potential for this being an action franchise for Bob Odenkirk, and with a sequel, I was interested to see where to take Hutch's story as well as the rest of the characters. And the first film was directed by the same guy who did Hardcore Henry, and in Nobody 2, we got a new director, and I have a feeling I'm gonna butcher this name, so I'll put this name right here. And this is actually his first American film after coming off of Indonesian action movies such as The Night Comes for Us. So I was really looking forward to seeing what a new director could do for Nobody 2, and the trailer was awesome, was hoping it would be as fun as the first movie, and it was one of my most anticipated of the summer. As a fan of the first Nobody, I was really hoping the sequel wouldn't disappoint. So how was Nobody 2? I am happy to report Nobody 2 is a damn good time. I don't think it's as good as the first movie, however. I do think it has some flaws from being as good as that first film, but was it still an entertaining action sequel? Absolutely. Let's start with my pros. The first thing I absolutely have to praise is, once again, Bob freaking Odenkirk, who continues to dominate the role of Hutch. And what I do admire about him playing Hutch is, yes, while he's still badass, he doesn't forget about the humanity of the character at the same time. And he does know how to find that strong balance of giving that character depth and making him awesome and you want to root for him at the same time on both of them. And for his action chops, Odenkirk is still phenomenal. I mean, for his age, and I believe he is 62 years old, and for him to do most of his own stunts and just the intensity he brought to this role, it's amazing. And that's a true testament how much he's committed to the rigorous training for the stunt work to make it look convincing. And it's apparent to how much he puts an immense amount of dedication to his stunts, fighting, and aggression. And Odenkirk is one of the reasons why the action succeeds here. And if we get to see more of Bob Odenkirk as an action star, either Nobody 3 or something else, I'd be down for it. And Connie Nielsen is also great reprising her role as Hutch's wife, and really great to see her given more to do in the story and surprisingly the action. And Christopher Lloyd continues to be a delight yet again like he was in the first movie. Now I was curious to see what Nobody 2 would be like under a new director, and I thought this director did a very good job handling this movie, just going bigger in scale and bloodier in the action. He successfully crafts action scenes that are just as zany, visceral, brutal, and well executed as the first movie. As for the action scenes here, I wouldn't say they would be as memorable as that bus fight from the first movie, but they are still awesome on their own. Every action scene gets more thrilling than the last one from the phenomenal stunt work, brutality, and they're very well staged. And the two highlights here, number one, what you've seen in the trailer, the duck boat fight scene. It definitely does have that same vibe from the bus fight, and it's still just as intense and visceral. And the climax with the carnival, that was awesome. And which leads me to my next point. I really like the change of pace with setting with the carnival, both being a nostalgic trip for Hutch, and for him to attempt to spend more time with his family. And he hasn't always been there with his family after the events of the first film, and he has been missing some of his son's events. So I really liked how that was used in a story here. Plus, it was a glorious opportunity to use the carnival setting for creative action set pieces. From seeing different kills, shootouts, guns, it was amazing to see on the big screen. And this sequel did work as a good continuation from the first movie. And I like that Hutch's family gets a much bigger role this time and being integral to the plot. And Hutch just really wants to spend more time with his family just away from work. But just this stuff involving this crime boss is just letting him back in. Just hard not to feel sorry for him. It's just like, give him a break. Let him spend time with his family on vacation. Come on. Sadly, I do have some flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, same problem with the first movie. The villains are pretty weak and underwritten. Although there are performances that are entertaining, mainly from Colin Hanks, who is Tom Hanks' son, who plays a sheriff in this movie, and especially Sharon Stone. Now, I'll give it credit to both of them. They look like they were having a ton of fun in their villain roles. And especially Sharon Stone just chewing the scenery and going over the top as the villain. It was definitely a treat to see her have fun in a villain role like this, and a much better villain role than, I believe the last time I saw her play a villain was the 2004 shitty Catwoman movie. Oh God, that freaking movie. Ugh. Now, yes, while they are entertaining here, they aren't really given a whole lot of depth. They are just kind of villains that are just like, you kind of seen them before and they don't really have that much to them. And another issue for me, I feel like this movie does hit familiar beats as the first movie. If you've seen the first Nobody, there are scenes in Nobody 2 that will remind you of its predecessor, just from when the movie opens and ends. And there is a moment in the duck boat fight scene, I was like, okay, kind of seen this before in the bus fight. And its climax with this big shootout did kind of remind me of the warehouse climax in the first Nobody. I was hoping this sequel would be a little more fresh and wouldn't just hit familiar beats as the first movie. It wouldn't be too bad if it did it on occasion, but it did a few more times I was like, this is getting into familiar territory. And lastly, I didn't feel like this story was as compelling as the first movie. I felt like the predecessor had more depth within the story. That and much more of a lightning in a bottle movie that wasn't just a John Wick wannabe. To sum up, while I don't think it's as good as the predecessor, falling short in the story department, Nobody 2 is still an action sequel that's a lot of fun, that continues the story very well with strong direction and another terrific lead performance from Bob Odenkirk. I definitely recommend this movie to you if you're fans of the first Nobody. Definitely go see this movie. And I feel like maybe you can enjoy this movie on its own if you haven't seen Nobody, but I would recommend you to watch the first Nobody before you watch the sequel. And if you're looking for a fun action movie to go see at the movies right now, do go see Nobody 2. And especially if you're looking for one last blockbuster to go see at the movies this summer, after seeing other superhero movies like Superman or Fantastic Four, this seems like an action movie you want to have a go time with, definitely go see it, man. And now to grade it, I'm going to give Nobody 2 4 stars out of 5, a B+. Over the weekend, well, according to thenumbers.com, it came in 5th place, but according to Box Office Mojo, it came in 3rd place. And it was behind Weapons at number 1, which is still dominating the box office, and Freakier Friday at number 2. And with their placements on its opening weekend, I have a feeling it might not do well in the following weekend, which makes me a little afraid that it might not be profitable enough to make Nobody 3 happen in the future, especially in mid-August, which does seem to be a slow time for movies right now. And that's a shame because I would like to see a Nobody 3 in the future. However, I still want to see the story continue and to see Bob Odenkirk kick more ass in the role of Hutch. So we'll see how Nobody 2 does this weekend at the box office, and we'll see through digital or streaming if maybe a third film can happen if it's successful there. Regardless, even if I don't think it's as good as the first film, I still had a fun time with this movie and found it to be an entertaining action sequel. So I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Nobody 2? If you've seen it, do you agree, disagree with my review, or if you haven't seen it, are you interested in seeing the film or not? Let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie? Want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. My social media links are in the description down below. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you'd like to see my written reviews, I do have a letterbox, so if you'd like to follow me on there as well. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.